Hello and welcome to this class on learning Screenflow, getting your presentations online. So let's dive right into what you're going to be learning about in this particular class. First of all, we're going to find out what Screenflow is, and quickly it's a way of capturing a screen and capturing a presenter at the same time. Next, we're going to look at why you would do this as opposed to capturing a presentation live in a conference room or at a conference. Next, we're going to talk about how you do that, how you actually use Screenflow to capture a screen full of presentations and the speaker at the same time, as we're doing here. Next, we're going to look at post-production, what you do to edit that video once you've captured it, and how you can add annotations and extra media to it to make it more explanatory or to make it more interesting. And then finally, we're going to look at how you actually publish the finished video from inside of Screenflow, or you can export it to your desktop and then upload it from YouTube then. So let's take it one step at a time. So imagine that instead of doing the presentation this way, with me on screen and a slide in behind me that you can see clearly, I was doing a presentation in a room like this gentleman. The problem with capturing it in a room is the lighting may be really bad, so that either the speaker is clear and nicely lit or the screen is, but chances are not both are. So you can end up with a situation where you have a speaker that's in the dark or slides that are really bright, or both can be really bad. Also, you may have a poor vantage point. In this case, you've got people's heads in the way. And the speaker may walk around, or they may change slides, and by the time you get to the slide, by moving your camera, the slide's changed. All sorts of problems. There can be miking problems. If there's questions from the audience, there may not be miking in the audience. There's all sorts of things that can make the video that you would shoot in a room really poor quality, and people wouldn't want to watch it for 5 minutes, especially, imagine it going on for an hour. It would be very hard to watch. So I think it works better in a lot of cases for you to actually shoot the screen and the person presenting after the fact. So we talked a little bit about these advantages and disadvantages. The disadvantage of doing this kind of thing is it's not live, so you don't have the same emotional relationship with the speaker as you would if you were in a room with them and they can't make eye contact with everybody in the room. And it requires some post-production. Now, shooting live video also requires post-production. In this case, the post-production can be really valuable because of the extra media and annotations that you can add. So how do you capture a presentation in Screenflow? You use it to capture full screen slides, and the software allows you to capture your full screen like you're doing here. And it's just a simple matter of firing up Screenflow and saying capture video, and you can also set up, do you want to capture the speaker as well? Do you just want to capture audio from the speaker? Do you want to capture audio from the presentation that you're looking at? Those variables are easy to set. Then you just say start recording and take your presentation up full size, make contact with the webcam, and you're away to the races. And so very easy to capture it. But how do you actually do post-production on it? Post-production, I mean that you want to edit the raw video, you want to maybe adjust the audio, maybe add some music if you want it, and then add additional media. And they could be individual still images, they could be additional video, they could be annotations, circles around things. And then you want to export the final video from inside of Screenflow. So let's talk a little bit and have some fun here that you could actually add captions to a video. You could add a headline to a video that you've captured, and you can circle things or put a square around things very easily in post-production as you just saw here. So let's take a look at what it actually looks like hands-on to do post-production on a Screenflow video that you've captured from your screen and from the webcam. Hey there, so this is what the interface for Screenflow actually looks like. And this is one of the classes I put together for Content in Hand. And you'll notice down here there's two pieces of video in the timeline. The first is this piece right here, the background. And that's the slides that I produced. And here is me, and that is shot with the webcam on the actual laptop that I'm using to record this. And we have control over both of these, so that's very, very powerful. So you'll notice here that my face here is highlighted here, and it's got little tools here, little dots here. And what this allows me to do is actually scale this up and down. So if I wanted to make myself smaller or bigger, I can do that and just highlight me and bring it up. So I have the ability to do what's called post-production of this. So let's, for the sake of interest, do some of that post-production here. So you'll notice I'm this size here. Now I can add what's called a video action. So I'm just going to scrub this to where, there. So I've got some clear space around me where I could make myself bigger. So let's just do that. And the way I do that is by going up over here and putting in some actions for the video. So I'm just going to create a video action, and I'm just going to click on action there. And you'll notice down here there's a little yellow line here, and that means that I have put the action and it will take place over the distance of that line. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the distance of that just a little bit there. And now on the other side of it, I'm going to increase my size here. So I'm just going to take myself up and I'm going to move myself over right about there. Now if we play this again, and some final notes. So let's take a look at all the stuff we've covered in this course. We started off with still photography, and still photography was really important. So now if I want to bring myself down again, I come up here again and add another action. And that action will take place in a shorter time span because I've got that yellow line there, much shorter. So I'm going to bring myself down again, down to this corner. Now let's just watch that again. At all the stuff we've covered in this course. We started off with still photography, and still photography was really important because a lot of the elements of still photography. So you see here, it's really easy to bring the narrator of the slides in and out as you need them. So for example, here, what if I wanted to make that person, me, disappear? I can just add another action here, and this time I'm going to change the opacity. And so I'm just going to fade myself out here. So now I'm there, but I'm invisible. So let's just watch that. It was really important. Shrink down, a lot of the elements of disappear. Still photography really came into. Now, what if I want to bring myself back again? Well, again, click on Action, increase the opacity. So again, let's look at that. The elements of still photography really came into play when we thought about shooting. So really easy to add effects to that. Now what if I wanted to highlight the word photos here, for example? I can do that by creating a graphic that I can put in place here and highlight things. So first of all, I'm going to add, this is an annotation, so I'm going to add an annotation, and you'll notice that this goes dark, the timeline there goes dark, and I have a little annotation here, and I can choose what kind of annotation I want. In this case, I'm going to choose a circle, and I'm going to draw that around the photo here, and I'm going to make it dark red to match that other one. So again, if we bring that in, and I'm just going to hit return here and click on the timeline, and if we play that, really came into play when we thought about shooting video. So at first we started looking at some practical. Now you say practical tips that overlap, so I'm just going to get it out of there. First we started trim it a little bit more. There we go. About shooting video. So at first we started looking at some practical tips. There, so we took it in and out very easily. So I just want to come back here for a bit after we circle that. What if I wanted to put a caption in for me here? So let's say who I am. So first of all, I think what I would do is add an action on this timeline. I can just select that timeline and add action. And now I'm just going to move myself up a bit so I can actually put a caption underneath me. So that will, you'll see that move. Video. So at first we started looking at some practical. So now I'm going to go over to the text tool over here and just add a text annotation here. And you'll need to note that it sits there. So I'm just going to say, whoops, Remac fail. And I'm going to move that down underneath me here. Now that's a little dominant, so I'm actually going to shrink it down a little bit. And I can get rid of the background if I want, and then I can change the color of the annotation here, right? So it's very easy to add text, move it around, and I'm just going to put that a little bit higher there. Actually, maybe what I'll do is I'll center it. And you can see it got that yellow line saying that I'm centered, and I'm done. So if I play this now, tips to think about using your smartphone not as a snapshot camera, but as a serious camera. And I see the caption disappeared because this disappeared here. Now I can also bring in other elements into this. So if I just go to my Finder here, we're talking about Screenflow. So I'm just going to go to Dropbox because I've got some screenshots. One of them is the logo for Screenflow. Drag it in and place it there. So now if I play this, I'm just going to back that up a bit. Capability of shooting really great pictures. Next we looked at composition. And composition was the... So there, I've just brought that in. And again, it doesn't really work there, but just to show you what's possible. And again, if I highlight this, I can add an effect to it. So I'm just going to add an action to that piece that I just included, and I'm going to scale it up. So if we play that again, really great pictures. Next we looked at composition, and composition was the... And then it disappears. Now what if there was a piece of this narration that I wanted to get rid of? Well, I can just highlight the text, which I've done here, it's in yellow, and then I hit the T key, and I actually trim out that piece. Again, if I select this and hit the T key, I've got the section I want to remove. I can move this over here, and I can also overlap that a bit if I wanted to do a transition. I'm not going to in this case. Is in a shot how we get close images at the center. There, so you see that clipped out, and if I can undo that, just hit Command Z, and I'll actually undo all of that work that I just did. So you'll notice down here there's another part of the recording, which is the actual course itself, and I can control that in the same way if I chose to. So if I wanted to make that smaller, for example, again, I would make an action, video action here, and now I can scale it down. Sometimes that's valuable, not often the case, but certainly you can do that. And so if I run this here, not as a snapshot camera, and I'm just going to actually put that back again. So I can put another action in there, and I'll scale it up to 100%. Right? The other thing I can do here, which is really valuable, suppose that I wanted to focus on photos, practical tips here as I was talking about them. So if we play that. Not as a snapshot camera, but as a serious camera with the capability of shooting really great pictures. So let's say, next when we look at composition, that's what I'm about to say. So if I wanted to highlight these words over there as I'm talking about them, again, very easy to do. I come back to this timeline, the one that's actually for the presentation, and I hit action, and now I'm going to really scale that up and move it over, and so now when we play that, really great pictures. Next we looked at composition, and composition was the now you notice that the screen peep that I put in there is still in there. I'm just going to get rid of that because it's just a demonstration. Of shooting really great pictures. Next we looked at composition, and composition was the so we've brought that up big again here. Now I'm just going to use the same way to bring it down again. So I hit the video action, and I'm going to bring it down to 100%, which is right about there, right? So I move it into place and scale it out again. So if we look at this again, of shooting really great pictures. Next we looked at composition, and composition was the way that we frame it. So we brought it back to where it was before. So those are some of the elements that you can use to produce, post-produce video in a really effective way. So now what we need to do is we've done all that we want to do, so we're actually going to output this. And the way we do that is we just go to File, Export, and I generally, for the web, bring it down 50% because right now we're shooting at a very high resolution, and I hit Export, and I call it a name, so I'm just going to call it test video in this case, and it's in organic courses, and I'm going to save that, and out it goes. So you can see it's exporting. So that's a quick overview of what you can do in Screenflow. Very, very powerful tool for taking presentations and taking narration of presentations and the person that's giving the narration and putting it into the actual slides and then outputting that as an actual video. Hope that was helpful. Now there's a couple ways of publishing the final post-production piece to YouTube. One is to do it straight from Screenflow, and you can see that's on the left here where you just go publish to and you pick your platform. In our case, we're going to be using YouTube. Or you can export to your hard drive and then from the hard drive upload to YouTube. There's advantages and disadvantages to both. The first, the one on the left, is a little faster. The one on the right gives you more control because you're going to be able to save the final product to your hard drive and then put it on a thumb drive, etc., and get it up on YouTube that way. So let's take a look at the second way, how you get it up to YouTube from your computer. You're going to be uploading the final video. You're going to be adding titling up there, adding captions and keywords, and adding it to a playlist. And some of this you would do if you're uploading straight from Screenflow. But we're going to take a look at how you do it from storing the file on your hard drive and then uploading it from there to YouTube. So let's take a look at that. So I'm going to quickly show you how to upload the video that you've just finished doing to YouTube. This is the account for your organization. If I just click on the upload link here at the top, this is going to open up and I can select a file to upload. If I select a file, I'm going to go into organic here. I'm going to pick part 10, although I've already uploaded it. Choose it and it will start uploading. As it uploads, you can enter in the title here, and I'm just going to put in test video here. I can add a description and I can also add tags. So this makes it easy for you and for others to find this. So in this case I might say organic, Screenflow, and training, say. And you can add your own here. I can also make it public or private, and I can also add it to a playlist. Now a playlist allows you to gather like videos together. So in this case I'm going to put it in content in hand, which is the course that this is part of. So I could just click that and it would be added to the playlist. And here's what the fully uploaded content looks like. Again, you can go in here and change the name. You can change the text here. You can see here that I put in as part of a 10-course training program, and it's public. So this is actually available online and people can go to it. And if we click on this, it'll take it, and this is actually what it looks like online. So there are advantages to exporting straight out of Screenflow to YouTube, but there are advantages to outputting to a file on your computer and then uploading it to YouTube like this, because you have a local copy of it and you can do other things with it, put it on a thumb drive, etc. So this is just a quick demo of how you actually get your file from your computer up to YouTube, into the channel you want, into the playlist you want. So there you go, a quick overview of what Screenflow is, how you might use it, the advantages and disadvantages of using it to capture a presentation live. How do you do that? How do you capture the presentation in Screenflow, the slides themselves and the speaker? How do you do post-production? How do you edit it, maybe cut stuff out, add extra media, move the speaker around a bit, make them disappear when you need to, and add some captioning. And finally, we talked about publishing your final video piece up to YouTube, either from your hard drive or directly to YouTube from inside of Screenflow. So I hope that was helpful. That's been Learning Screenflow, sharing your presentations online. I've been your instructor, Wayne McPhail. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.